The subordinate replied, "I think you should move to another place far away from them." Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted. "No need. I'm tired of standing behind and watching. I'll fight in here. Monarch of Shadows, you're so good. I didn't expect you to use the cup of reincarnation to turn back time like this. I never thought I could continue to live to confront you. Now is the time when one of them will truly go to eternity, right?" Jinwoo's black magical energy finally appeared. The king of berserk dragons radiates terrible magical power and introduces himself. "I am Antares, and what is your name?" "Second Monarch of Shadows." He replied, "Sung Jinwoo." "Surely we don't need more words, right?" Of course, as soon as the words ended, the two rushed into the fight. Enemies meeting after a long time were extremely excited. They rushed at each other like hungry tigers. The two sides, terrorist legions, began to fight each other. That's how the fierce battle broke out. On the other hand, in 2 years' time, in the current world, the entire United States is being disturbed by the words of a certain fortune teller. The god of eternal death will appear on this land. If it were normal, no one would care about this prophecy. But this became a big problem because the person who made the prophecy was Mrs. Norma Selner. The god of death will appear on this land along with thousands of soldiers of death. That means we won't be able to escape death. Nor is there any way to escape from that god. 2 years ago, her spiritual eyes suddenly opened. From then on, she became the center of public attention when all the predictions she made were accurate. For example, the death of the North Korean leader, the terrorist attack on passengers on a plane, or the collapse of the stock market due to a sharp drop in house prices. Everything was not wrong by even 1 inch, so everyone couldn't help but be surprised when she suddenly gave a message implying that the world would be destroyed. And right after that day, a hole appeared in the sky so large that it could cover the entire sky. Ms. Selner's prediction has become headlines in all newspapers around the world. The sky gradually changed. Everyone looked extremely surprised. A guy stuttered and pointed to the sky. That's it. It's opening up. That hole is opening up. What is that? So will this thing destroy the world? But nothing seems to come out of it. A dark shadow gradually appeared behind them. That mysterious person was none other than our son Jinwoo. There was someone standing there waiting for him. This guy was the fragment of light. He smiled warmly. "Welcome back, Jinwoo. Welcome back safely, son Jinwoo. No, I should call you Monarch of Shadows, right? I didn't think you would appear as a middle school student, right? Because if I appeared with a bushy beard, everyone would make a fuss, even just one person. But the feeling when someone is confused is not bad, right? Actually," the ruler said, "actually, I don't think you can handle them alone and return safely. But now each step you take carries the weight of 10 million soldiers." He replied, "I don't think you wouldn't go out of your way to come here just to give me a flower, right? So what does the messenger of the rulers want to tell me?" "The rulers want me to convey a message to the Monarch of Shadows. The story will be a bit long. Let's change places, shall we?" "Okay, just in time I remembered there was a very suitable place. The two of them are currently at an ice cream shop in the city." The dominant leader laughed and said, "The appropriate place, you said, is an ice cream shop." Jinwoo replied while eating, "If you eat in a foreign land for too long like me, you will definitely crave sweets." So what do the rulers say? "Well, first of all, I want to send my sincere thanks." Before he could finish his sentence, he was interrupted by Jinwoo. "You don't need to say a complicated greeting. Has something happened?" He quickly replied, "Of course not. On the contrary, because all the problems had been resolved. I came to Mr. Monarch." He raised his hand, and a bright light appeared. "Because the rulers are worried that his power will have a bad influence on the world. But you probably already know that this current world is very difficult to handle with the power you possess. So the current world is too weak without magic power. So if it's okay with you, then I'll take you to a world that can contain the power of a monarch." Jinwoo replied with a gloomy face, "Why bother taking me to another world? You can seal me easily." Listening to this, he felt a bit awkward. That's really the way it is. As soon as the words ended, Jinwoo emitted a source of extremely powerful magic power, making him tremble in fear. "So are you planning to eliminate me now that I'm no longer useful? Because you fear my power?" Hearing this, he broke into a sweat and quickly replied, "It's not like that. It's absolutely not like that. Please read this first." Then he hurriedly gave the phone to Jinwoo. "The god of death will appear on this land. What is this article about? He explained. Lady Selner's prophecy had become a topic of public discussion before you returned. Before, she was not this good of a fortune teller, but her life changed when she came into contact with our world. In short, are you trying to say that my existence can lead to this change? Yes, thinking for a while, he asked. So, can you come find me later? He stood up, bowed his head, and said, Of course, great monarch. On the table right now there is only Jinwoo's silhouette. If all missions have a predetermined purpose for their existence, then I can be sure of one thing: the one who becomes the monarch of shadows is me who has completed it. Mission when he successfully prevented the invasion of the emperors and the strange phenomenon of the world with his own power. I have achieved the purpose of my existence, but when that ultimate power has no use, it will become a danger like expired nuclear materials. Then I suddenly had a question. Does this place no longer need me? It's really empty. But a figure brought him back to his senses. A girl with a slim body walked past. Jinwoo quickly chased after her, while I was doubting whether this place needed me to stay or not. If there is still a reason for me to stay here, it is because my loved ones and those who love me are still here. Images of daily activities of all the people who accompanied Jinwoo appeared one after another. So I have enough reasons to stay here, and I will find more reasons to stay here. I promise that. The opening of Season 3 is a scene at a certain police station. Someone said, sometimes the feeling inside me is indescribable, a strange loss. It was as if I had forgotten something important. But no matter how hard I try, I can't remember what I forgot. The more I tried to remember what I had forgotten, the more empty my soul became. A man appeared who was Woo Jin-chul, but in the world without magic. He is a criminal police officer who has worked for 4 years. A subordinate turned to ask him, Senior, what are you worried about that makes you look so serious? Woo Jin-chul reached out and took the coffee cup, smiled, and said, Thank you. The ancients said worker bees don't have time to be sad. I should do something. At the station, he turned to look at the criminals and asked, What's wrong with those guys? I heard my subordinates turn to look at them and exclaim, Hey, aren't those guys? The criminals now had extremely scared expressions. One of them stammered and said, Those monsters are not just those shadows. They appeared and started telling me, if you don't confess all the crimes, within the next 24 hours you will know what suffering is. Having said this, he quickly shouted urgently, Please, Mr. Investigator, I am the guilty one. Please just put me in jail. Woo Jin-chul looked at them with a puzzled expression and asked, So you guys saw that dark monster? He quickly replied, That's right. Confirming this was the truth, he was a bit confused. How to report something like this? While in an awkward moment, a colleague suddenly approached. Jin-chul, just leave everything here for the kids to take care of. Shouldn't you go to the meeting room right away? Woo Jin-chul seemed to have forgotten his meeting, so the junior replied, Let me take care of this. Inside the meeting room, Jin-chul's expression was extremely scared. So boss really wants to let them go. The superior turned to look at him with a very serious expression. I know what you want to say. I heard everything. He continued to ask, What did you mean by letting the witnesses go like that? He opened the window to look outside and replied, That's what I mean. We will let it go for now. But we will monitor their every move over the next 24 hours. Woo Jin-chul still argued, Boss, they're just talking nonsense because they're doing drugs. There's a monster coming out of the shadow. Maybe it's just a side effect of playing with toys too much. But the test came back negative. I even went to the National Forensic Bureau to confirm it. Besides, do you think there's a way a group of people who have no connection to each other can give the same statement and turn themselves in? The superiors have ordered us to quickly intervene to clarify the cause. But until now, we still don't understand what the hell is going on. We have no other choice, right? So what I'm trying to say is, immediately ask the room. Create a situation like they're talking nonsense and let them go. Jin-chul replied, But if there really is such a thing, what should we do? Hearing that, the two of them looked at each other and burst out laughing. Investigator Woo, do you really believe in things like ghosts? I thought you were a person who never showed emotions. Who would have thought you were worried about losing this? Then he patted Jin-chul on the shoulder. Nothing will happen. We just need to drag one guy to a quiet warehouse and observe his reaction. There will be a few other investigators along. Do you think he would dare to make up a story? Let's say there is a monster like they said. Wouldn't that be better for us officers? Let's work. Now we need a volunteer. If you don't want to, you don't have to participate, Investigator Woo. He seriously replied. No, I will go with you. The scene changes at night in an abandoned warehouse. The criminal inside starts screaming. His pale face is accompanied by tears. Mr. Investigator, please don't do that to me. I'm really going to die. He calmly looked at him and said, just stay there, we're just doing the inspection process. Hearing that, he became even more scared. If I keep this up, I will really die. He angrily scolded the other guy. Hey, are you crazy? We're here to protect you, right? Investigator Kim, how much longer will it take for 25 hours? He quickly looked at his watch and replied, about 10 more minutes. Really? So cold. Jinwoo still stood there to observe the criminal's actions. But at this moment he also felt that the atmosphere around here was a bit different. The subordinate reports that time is up. The criminal heard that and was also surprised. Why is nothing happening? He looked at that guy and asked again, is it true that you guys don't play with toys or have a history of playing with toys? Don't beat about the bush. Let's end everything here. He was still in a state of panic. Sweat soaked his clothes. At that time, I actually saw it. Actually, there were 4 of us at that time. Suddenly Woo Jinchul shouted, get away, get out of there immediately. The criminal's shadow had now changed. A stream of magic energy was emitted, causing them to fly away. Inside the criminal's fearful eyes is the silhouette of a shadow soldier. Woo Jinchul saw something like that happen and was extremely panicked. Was it really a monster? There are 3 more children. The criminal screamed in despair. A sharp iron hand grabbed him, blood splashed, and he actually went to the altar to look at the naked cock. Seeing such a bloody scene, Woo Jinchul was also extremely shocked. Don't ignore that. Why do I know that those eyes are showing joy when they see me? As if we had known each other before. Why? Inside the police headquarters office, the chief's face was red with anger, and the person who confessed had disappeared without a trace. As for the 2 people, they were beaten unconscious, and don't know why they were beaten unconscious. Investigator Woo, what about you? You were the one who called the ambulance, right? Do you remember what happened? He bowed the head, replied awkwardly. I'm sorry, boss. When I woke up I saw them lying there. Damn it, you too. Fortunately, there has not been a report sent to superiors. So if you know anything, keep your mouth shut about this incident. Just declare that the 2 of you were investigating the Guroga gang when you had an unexpected accident and were injured. Is that clear? They shouted in unison. Yes, boss. At his desk, Woo Jinchul was still thinking about yesterday. There is definitely something. The subordinate approached and asked, has your senior still not given up on that mass confession? Didn't the police chief say so? Jinchul quickly interrupted. I know, I'm just interested, so I'll do more research. Are all these criminals turning themselves in just because of some kind of dark monster? That's what it's written in here. The number of people confessing skyrocket from the second half of February to the middle of March. So what did you find out? Oh no, my aunt used to have a book rental store. So what? That time is the start of a new semester for students. That's why she always complained that she couldn't sell much at that time. It's just a trivial matter, right? Senior Jinchul looked at him and replied, nothing. I will remember that. The scene changes to the principal's office. The principal tells a teacher, there is a special student who will enter their school this term / The teacher took a look at the family history and said, father is a firefighter, mother is a housewife. His academic results are also good. He doesn't seem like a special student. The principal interrupted, look at the reason why he was expelled from school. Did he run away from home for 2 years when he was only in 1st grade? That's right. What do you think? Can you handle this student? The teacher's face showed an extremely evil smile. You know why they call me the Cobra, don't you? Give me any troublemaker, and I'll teach them not to cause trouble ever again. This teacher's name is Park Gissel. At the school's gym, he shouted loudly, order, who's talking? Then he turned to look at Jinwoo. There, so that kid is some Jinwoo. No matter how special the game is, I guarantee that soon you will turn into a gentle sheep under my tutelage. As he approached him, he looked at Jinwoo's gloves. That's against the uniform regulations. You think you're cosplaying so and so, who lets you wear gloves in school? Jinwoo glanced at him, his murderous aura radiating out, making him scared and turned away to scold other students. Am I hallucinating? Billion stood next to him and asked, "Who is the monarch?" "Just now. I know it seems like he saw you guys. Is this also a consequence of me changing the nature of this world?" Inside the school, the students were joking with each other during recess. Only Jinwoo was alone. A blonde guy approaches. "You're Jinwoo, Sung Jinwoo, right? It's me, Deong Gil. We were in first grade together. Do you remember? Do you live near here? I just moved in last year." A group of bullies came out of nowhere and pushed that guy down. They surrounded Jinwoo. The leader said, "Whoa, are you some sort of hotshot? You're even wearing a glove. But why are you only wearing a glove on one hand? Do you have a black flaming dragon sealed in there or something?" "Oh, my hand. I also have a black flaming goat bleeding in my right hand." Jinwoo thought to himself, "What are they doing? Hierarchical division or something like that." He told Jinwoo to take off his gloves and saw that he didn't react, so he started to get angry. "What are you hiding? Tattoo or something else?" Bearer next to him whispered, "Your Majesty, if you allow me, I will cut to pieces those who dare to violate you and present their heads." "I don't allow it. I forbid it." He gradually took off his gloves, and when they saw them, they began to feel scared. It is known that this wound from the battle with the king of berserk dragons and tears is the only thing that Jinwoo cannot heal. He asked. They had never seen a burn before and felt that the person in front of them was an ordinary person. So they also found a way to leave. "We were just joking. Why are you so tense? Can you put it back on? I'm afraid I'll have a nightmare tonight." Seeing that Beru intended to leave, the male protagonist quickly stopped him. It was best to handle everything silently. "My mouth says forgive me, but my heart is not pure, guys. They were knocked down by magic powered in the hallway. We just do it for fun." The guy who followed the male lead just now, he's so different from before, he's not even scared of them anymore. "Have you practiced bodybuilding or martial arts in the past 3 years?" "It's true that I practice a lot." "If so, are you planning on joining a sports club?" Hearing this, the male protagonist felt a bit interesting. "There is actually a club that I want to join." At the school's sports field, a senior looked at the male lead and asked, "Do you want to join the athletics club?" This person's name is Choi Ta-won, captain of the track and field club. He replied, "No, it's just me." The club members expressed extreme disdain. "What is this? Does anyone want to join our club?" I have never seen anyone proactively ask to participate. "This kid is not ordinary." The captain asked again, "Are you a seed?" "No, or I used to participate in running training in middle school." "That's not it either." One person in the group looked annoyed. "This place only accepts seeds. Why do you want to join the track club when you've never trained before?" "Because there is someone I want to meet in this competition." The male lead's expression was quiet. She's probably still in high school, but with her ability, she'll be able to compete in the regional running tournament. Before giving up his unfinished dream to become a hunter, he was a talented athlete, so I'm sure I'll meet her again in the high school runner race. Although the guy earlier stopped him, the captain decided to accept the male lead on one condition. The captain looked towards a young man standing in the warm-up position. He was a reserve athlete and also a talented person. "Worst ability in the club. At least you have to win against him before thinking about joining the club, right?" Although he is a bit skinny, but with his toned thighs and calves and sky-high confidence, this condition is a lie. "Okay, I will try that." Seeing the male lead accept the captain's conditions, the blue-haired guy smiled triumphantly. Why didn't he realize that the person who finished third in last year's regional running tournament dared to say he wanted to join the track and field club? The captain was extremely happy. Very good, because just running is not fun. If you win, you get to join the club, and if you lose, you have to do laundry and cleaning for free for a month. What do you see? It's okay. Hearing the male lead accept, the guy next to him was speechless. Inside the teacher's office, the physical education teacher is observing the competition between the male protagonist and the male students inside the club. He clenched his cigarette and thought, "What the hell? Why is that kid running with a member of the track club?" He asked the track coach, "Why is the male lead running with the members of your club?" The other teacher smiled. "Oh, that. So he is the male lead. I heard the new student wants to join the track club because they lost his test, so they can't kick him out. Now the kids are running a race to test his endurance." Hearing this, he was a bit surprised. The athletics teacher said that the male protagonist had already run the 20th lap. I was bored watching him run forever, so I came up here and sat first. Hearing this, he had a bit of a hard time believing it because in his mind, the male lead was a special student. Maybe now he should look at the male lead with a different perspective because his previous prejudices against him were probably wrong. Suddenly his face changed as if he had seen something extremely scary. Again, that's what I saw last time. What the heck was that? It was just an illusion, and I was dizzy. There's no way that thing could exist. Beru standing outside gave him a scare and immediately fainted. Igris was annoyed and told him, "I told you not to do that." Beru replied, "Did that human see us?" At a certain restaurant, a guy asked Jinwoo, "I still see that you were still investigating the mass confession case at that time. What did you see that day?" But Jinwoo kept denying. "What day?" The young man continued to ask. "You know, right? I'm talking about the day the guy who turned himself in suddenly disappeared and left the two investigators with me beaten unconscious. Is it true that you couldn't see anything that day?" Jinwoo replied with a gloomy face, "Ant monster, even I don't know what I saw that day. But no matter how I look at it, those things look like ants. Ant monster, you. Don't tell me those guys are like giant ants. It's not like that. They are real ants, but..." The teacher quickly approached the ant monster. Is its head an ant but its body human? The scene changes to the school stadium. The club members are practicing hard to sweep all tournaments in their country. One team member said their goal was to win the regional tournament. He shouted loudly, "Come on, if you dream, dream big. But our goal is to wipe out every tournament in this country. Win the nationals. Win the nationals." Their voices are loud while their physical strength is gradually depleted. The male lead asked his friend, "Why are you trying to chase me even though you know you can't?" Billion next to him was also speechless. Humanity is inherently a stupid creature, Lord. The male protagonist uses the recovery skill to make all the fatigue in his body disappear. Suddenly, he seemed to gain more strength. The club members who saw him running like that were also extremely excited. Our rookies are burning with passion. How can elders like us be indifferent? The gym teacher stood above with an angry look on his face. He remembered his conversation at the beer garden. What nonsense am I talking about? I'm sorry. I'm too drunk. I'll go first. But Jinwoo stopped him from leaving. You just mentioned something like ants. Can you tell me more about it? The male protagonist also knows that many people have been observing him recently. Billion asked, "Monarch, what do you think if we erase that human's memories and take away his abilities?" "No need. Just observe first." Jinwoo appeared outside the school. It seemed he wanted to investigate Jinwoo, the monster that the suspect saw and the monster of a student that only the teacher could see had some strange connection here. Although this is just a hunch for an investigator like me, the question is, how should I ask that student? Thinking about his stupid scene made him feel a bit shy. If you ask me that, people won't say I'm a crazy person. A shadow quickly passed by. He really had something at this school. Jinwoo walked and turned the pen in his hand, thinking, did he see the guards? As expected of Woo Jinchul, who used to be the president of the Hunter Association, even though he no longer had memories of the previous time, his instincts were still sharp, just like I knew. At this time, Jinchul appeared in the classroom. He came just to ask Jinwoo something. The students saw that and started whispering. An investigator came to find some Jinwoo. He must have caused some trouble. Outside in the hallway, two people are talking to each other. Sorry to bother you in the middle of class. It's Ok. It's been a few years, right? No, if you include the years spent wandering in the dimensional rift fighting the emperors, then I haven't seen him for 10 years. I'm so happy to see him again. But would it be strange if I suddenly revealed my previous identity? Looking at Jinwoo's appearance, Jinchul also realized that there was something very different emanating from him. How could a student have that look? About shadows, I mean ants, I don't know. Does looking at this drawing remind you of anything? He can draw better than me. Yes, he was a bit surprised when he heard this. Do you know anything about it? Yes, so what is this ant monster? And who are you? Feeling a bit agitated, he apologized to Jinwoo because he had been looking for clues about this for a long time. So, you know what this is? Jinwoo replied that doesn't it look a lot like a monster that appears in a cartoon with some special effects? The genre that children often watch. Thank you for your time. Is that all? That's right, I already asked your teacher's permission. So you don't need to worry. I feel very happy to talk to you today. I wonder if you can give me that drawing. Beru quickly stopped. Your Majesty, please don't dirty your eyes with that crude and ugly drawing. Jinchul gave him the drawing and then hurriedly left. Igris asked why Jinwoo didn't tell Jinchul the truth. He replied, people say that forgetting is a blessing that God gives to humans, even if that forgetting is the result of a tool of God. In class, the female classmates quickly asked Jinwoo about the current situation. Jinwoo quickly explained that he was just an acquaintance of mine. He has something personal to ask me. Hearing this, they greatly admired Jinwoo. Guys also say that your body is quite good. It's true that if you're a handsome guy, there are many girls who like you. While being surrounded like that, suddenly the big brother appeared. He still didn't know how to be afraid and pointed at Jinwoo's forehead. Will me having fun with you like this be considered bullying? Are you going to report me to the investigator? Why do you want to fight? When I'm still talking kindly, put that attitude away. He hadn't been able to show off much power when suddenly the captain of the athletics club grabbed him by the neck like a chicken. What are you doing here, senior? He smiled and replied, what else can I do? I'm here to stop this trump card from killing these 4 idiots. Jinwoo quickly stood up to stop him. He didn't pay attention and continued. Ha, actually I forgot to tell you that there will be a new member welcome party soon. Are you and Yeongil free today? Yes, so, see you guys after school. Jinwoo just replied, Captain Choi Taewon and Gusik, what are you two planning to do to them? Ha, these kids? I don't know anymore. Why don't we do a few laps around the track? It seems to be funny. What's wrong with those people? Do you want us to teach them an unforgettable lesson? No need. I'll make sure not to cause any trouble before the tournament. A voice in his ear said, Student Sam Jinwoo, can we continue the conversation from the other day? Don't be late. I'll hold Yeongil hostage until you get to the party. Outside the park, the two of them were sitting and talking to each other. Jinwoo said that his friend was waiting so he didn't have much time. About the conversation the other day, suddenly the director interrupted Hunter Sam Jinwoo. It was really you. Back to the previous day, while Jinchul was leaving, a voice suddenly rang in his head / President of the association, do you believe me? Yes, I believe you. If that's the case, I hope you'll believe everything I'm about to show you. What is this? All the memories that have come back are memories linked to the past, present, and future. Images of himself in the forgotten world through the eyes of Hunter Sam Jinwoo and stories about the monster gates, hunters, and monarchs. Jinchul quietly asked again, how long have you been fighting those creatures between dimensions? Based on reports, Hunter Sam Jinwoo had been missing for 2 years, but that kind of problem wasn't something that could be resolved in 2 years' time. Jinwoo slowly answered, 27 years. So do you have any regrets? He replied seriously, no, even if I choose again, or even many times, I will still choose like this. Jinchul smiled warmly. It seems you are living a very happy life. I feel satisfied with it. Besides the fact that I have to constantly change my body because I can't get any older. Eternal youth and immortality. He truly possessed godlike powers. But if his choice is to live like a normal person while having that kind of ability, have you ever thought about what you want to do in the future? I haven't thought about things that far away. If so, how about joining our side? Do you mean international police? Lately, the criminals visiting our police station have been complaining all day that the dark monsters don't give them a chance to live. But if I become a police officer, then won't everyone else have nothing to do? That's exactly what we're trying to create for the world. I will think carefully about this. So I wait to hear from you. Never mind. I heard that your side still seems to have a lot of work going on. Time gradually passed. One day at the end of April, almost May, that thing suddenly appeared again. A man walking in the desert called the rescue center to report the situation he was experiencing. Many cracks appeared in the sky. The staff also doesn't understand what the crack is. At a cafe in the city, the messenger of light came to greet Jinwoo. Jinwoo announced that the sky was cracking. Evening at Jinwoo's house. Ikra said, you should approach problem 24 in a different way, my liege. But my king. Jinwoo felt something. At a cafe in the city, the messenger greeted Jinwoo. Jinwoo interrogated him about the matter that had just come up today. The messenger quickly denied that it was not them who did it. You probably already know that this method of transcending time and space is different from the way we usually use it. So what's on its way here? Do you have any guesses that these aliens might not have invaded our world not too long ago? After they were chased away by the heavenly army, it seems they have turned their attention to your world. They want to come here again. The messenger quickly replied, they belong to a giant race that must consume soil and rocks on planets to maintain life. In their world, they are infamous creatures known as Titans. The reason they want to come to this Earth should be obvious. Jinwoo confirmed again. So they are not your accomplices. The messenger nodded in agreement. Jinwoo gently put down the coffee cup and continued, but didn't this happen before the cup of reincarnation was used? Correct again. Actually, the fact that they just invaded our world was what I meant to refer to that lost timeline. Jinwoo heard that and asked, so you mean those creatures that should have aimed at your world have now changed their mind to aim at the Earth? That's right, it seems I am the cause. The messenger said they were searching for traces of a king with extraordinary power, or at least rulers. We guess so, and our rulers have already sent out their heavenly army. No, this is too late.